Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/ProRevenge, where boy, oh boy, OP's cheating ex-girlfriend got absolutely wrecked. Let's begin. I know that my son isn't mine, but my wife doesn't think I do. Posted by Reddit user ThrowRA Wife Son DNA.
Hello all. Throwaway. I made this as short as possible. I'm sorry. I've been married to my wife for 3 years and together for 5. Our son just turned 2 in early June, and to put it bluntly, he looks biracial. His skin is darker than I thought it would have been. He has curly hair when we most certainly don't, and his features just don't look like the standard white people which we are. He's a beautiful boy. He just doesn't look 100% white. I asked my wife a few days after his birthday if she thought our son looked white. She said yes, and asked if I'm accusing her of something. I said no, because I genuinely wasn't. I just was wondering. I know genetics can be weird sometimes. We fought and I apologized, but I wasn't able to shake the feeling, so I did the shitty thing and got a test done behind my wife's back. The results came in a few days ago, and I'm not my son's dad. I feel conflicted about my son. I love him, but knowing that he isn't mine is leaving a sour taste in my mouth. Our son definitely prefers me and he's my world, but he's just not biologically mine. I don't know what to make of my feelings. I'm a mix of emotions about my wife. I don't know how to talk to her. I'm angry, confused, and feeling very, very betrayed. I'm heartbroken too. I still love her. She's working at the moment, and I don't want to disturb her at her office, but I feel like I'm going to explode. This is all very difficult for me to process, and I can't. I can't think of when my wife cheated. We always had each other's locations for safety purposes, and I can't think of any suspicious friends that she has or had. We go on regular dates, and our bedroom isn't dead. We were also trying for a baby around that time, so I don't know when she cheated on me or why. Ever since we married, she's been over the moon, constantly showing off her ring and talking about me. She's like a teenager in love. How do I tell her that I know, or get that ball rolling? I don't know what I want to do yet, as stupid as that sounds. I've been stewing on it for a few days, but I still love her so much. Maybe someone can knock some sense into me. I need help. Edit, I'm becoming overwhelmed with the comments. I'm sorry. I wanted to reply to a few, but I can't. I just wanted to say thank you for commenting, and that I also hope our baby was just swapped, as terrible as that sounds. Our baby didn't look biracial at birth. As he got older, he started developing features that didn't look entirely like ours. If our son's skin didn't darken over time, I don't think I ever would have questioned anything. The other features can be explained as a fun little surprise or a few generation hops maybe. I know that genetics can be weird. Now for OP's update. I don't know if anyone will see this, as the subreddit I posted to doesn't allow updates after 48 hours, but hello if you do. Getting the bad news out the way first. My son isn't mine. I feel devastated and will be divorcing my wife. My wife and I had talked about our son a few days after my post, and my wife cracked under the pressure. She admitted to cheating on me without me even mentioning the test I had gotten done. All I asked was if she really thought our son looked white. I mean it when I say that if his skin never got darker, I wouldn't have known. She cried a lot and begged for forgiveness and told me that we can all still be a happy family. But my image of her shattered right then and there. I'm going through heartbreak, so forgive any mistakes. I'm currently living with my parents. I asked her when she even found the time to cheat on me, and she told me that she would leave her phone in a location and use another. She told me the cheating was a mistake and an accident, but how was it a mistake if you had it so planned out? We were trying for a baby around then, and she told me that she couldn't handle the pressure of it all and just wanted to escape. She didn't escape very well if she still got pregnant and acted like we were perfect. Thank you again to everyone. My wife will now be known as my ex-wife. I apologize to anyone who had hope and thought it was a baby switched at birth situation. I'm somewhat happy it wasn't, because that would be terrible, but extremely disappointed because that means he really isn't mine. There won't be any more DNA tests because she admitted to everything and showed me some text messages. There won't be any more updates from me either, because I just want to move on with my life. I'll get everything sorted and figure out the whole custody thing. Thanks again, everyone. Goodbye.
OP, I would personally remove myself from the birth certificate and the kid's life. But I would suggest leaving a heartfelt message to him if he wants to reach out when he's older, just in case he wanted to know the truth of why you left. Look man, this is a terrible situation for you, but especially for the kid. Paternity fraud should be a felony. We can't keep rewarding these hoes for wrecking the lives of men and children. But good news, I did hear that there is a new law that is being discussed. Basically, it requires a mandatory DNA test before signing any birth certificate if the couple is not married. I'm not sure if this is already passed or not, but the bill is called House Bill 2698. You guys can Google it if you want to learn more. And now for today's second story. My Revenge on My Ex-Girlfriend, Karma Edition. Posted by Reddit user Indian Throwaway Yas.
Beginning, I was born in India. When I was 10, I moved to a small country town in Australia when my dad got a job here. It sucked. I was small, fat, brown, had an accent, and didn't understand the culture. A bunch of racist nut jobs at school bullied me, and life sucked. Thankfully, I kept my grades up and got a scholarship to study science at a major university in a major city. During my first day of tutorials at university, I noticed there is a shy, awkward-looking, chubby Indian girl sitting by herself. Her name was Ronnie, and she too was from a rural town. She had just moved up here with her second cousins. We quickly bonded over how bad high school was and how nice it was to be in a multicultural city. We ended up having a lot of mutual interests and joined the same societies and clubs at our university: video games, board games, Indian cultural clubs, ballroom dancing. Within a month or so, I asked her out. First girl I ever asked, and she said yes. We dated in secret and became each other's first everything: kiss, love, relationship, sexual partner, etc. After a year of secret dating, she moved into my apartment. Life was fantastic. We never fought, had zero problems, had similar hobbies plus friends, constantly attracted to each other, had sex every day. It was perfect, just two lovebirds building a life together. Problem. Well, after dating in secret for 2 years, we decided to meet each other's families. My parents are conservative Muslims, but knew I was going to date around. They were just happy I had chosen an Indian girl they could relate to. Her parents initially were very harsh and aggressive. However, when they met me, they immediately fell in love with me. The only problem was they wanted us to get married. Ronnie and I had already talked about this. We both wanted to get into medical school after our bachelors. We both wanted a family and the white picket fence, but we had both decided to wait on that until after medical school. However, after meeting her parents and some introspection, I decided to speed up the plan. My plan was to ask her for marriage in 2 years' time when we'd finished our bachelor. We would get married in the 5-month break after university, do a bit of travel, have a honeymoon, and then commence medical school as husband and wife. In the meantime, I decided I was going to lose all my excess weight and become the attractive groom she deserved. Both her and I were fat, and we never had any issues with our weight and attractiveness to each other, and I didn't care if she remained fat for the rest of our lives. I just wanted to improve myself and make myself the attractive man she deserves to be with. Heartbreak. Ronnie was initially supportive of my weight loss. She liked the new me and how much energy and confidence I now had. After 1 year, I had lost 30 kilos and hit my ideal body weight. I started lifting and was building muscle mass. Ronnie started getting more insecure in herself. I would reassure her that I had no issues with her weight, but we started getting into more fights. She was annoyed with how I'd always cook my meals and I wouldn't eat out with her as much. I spent all this time at the gym, I was too attractive for her, etc. I would reassure her all the time that this wasn't the case, but things kept getting worse. With 1 year to go, I let Ronnie's father in on the plan. I asked him for his consent to marry Ronnie on the proviso that we'd get married after graduation so that we wouldn't have to worry about a wedding whilst trying for med school. He said yes and was absolutely excited. With 8 months to go, Ronnie started acting really cold and weird. I knew something was up. At first, I thought it was the stress of med school entrance exams and coursework. 2 weeks into the coldness, I opened up her laptop to look up this tenancy agreement thing regarding our apartment. I see a messenger message from this guy that was highly suspicious. Ronnie had this friend that looked and acted like that dumb fat brother from My Name is Earl. He was absolutely ridiculously socially inept, annoying, very uncultured, and ignorant. He was very fat and had bad BO all the time. He was in the board games, video games, anime clubs with us. Looking over her Skype messages, Ronnie had been bitching to Earlbro about our relationship for the last year or so. Earlbro had confessed his love for her a couple times, which Ronnie had knocked back. 2 weeks ago, Ronnie and Earlbro must have cheated. Earlbro wanted Ronnie to break up with me, but Ronnie was saying this whole thing was a mistake and to shut up. Well, I saw red and immediately packed up my shit. I printed the messages out. I tell my landlord that I won't be renewing my lease. I text Ronnie that I know and that we are through. I quickly move most of stuff. I don't have much. Most of our stuff was Ronnie's, into my friend's house and tell my friends to shield me from Ronnie. Well, Ronnie found out and went ballistic. She apparently ran home and saw my stuff gone. She went to our mutual friend's house and started bawling her eyes out. She tried contacting me, but my friends deleted all her messages. Apparently, Earlbro was a drunken mistake. She never wanted to hurt me, etc. The reason she cheated was because she thought I was getting fit so that I could find a better girlfriend and upgrade from her. WTF. Could I please meet her for another chance/closure, blah blah. I decided I was never going to talk to her ever again, something which I have successfully achieved. Revenge 1. Ronnie's dad started blowing up my phone a day after dumping Ronnie. He aggressively demanded an explanation on why I broke her heart. Her 2 older brothers also called and made threats. I didn't reply to their voicemails. Instead, I sent a huge email out to both Ronnie and my parents. In the email, I wrote out a heartfelt message explaining how I'd envisioned Ronnie and I getting married, but she had cheated. I copied in the screenshots of her message, and that I apologize for causing a scene and diminishing our family status. Indians care a lot about family status, but that I'd really like my space so I can concentrate on getting into med school. Within 1 hour of sending the email out, Ronnie's dad phoned up. He was very apologetic. He said his girl was very sorry and it was a mistake. He said he would drive up and beg at my feet to take Ronnie back and offered me money. WTF again. I accepted his apology, but said I don't want any further contact with her or her family and wished them all the best. A week later, Ronnie's family drove down to our city. They took Ronnie back to their country town and pulled her out of her courses. She didn't graduate on time and couldn't apply for medical school. She returned 1 year later to complete her course, but she failed. She ended up living at home unemployed for a year before going into a retail job. She put on massive weight and now looks like a bloody globe. Word got out to the Indian community about her cheating and her family was ostracized. Ronnie is now massively depressed and her family has resented her for bringing down their status in the Indian community. Revenge 2. I went off to med school in another state. A bunch of Indian parents got in contact with me to tutor their kids. One girl I tutored, Amina, blew me away. She was studying science and wanted to get into medicine. She was gorgeous both inside and out. She had a beautiful smile and lit up the room. Most importantly, she had a beautiful soul. She was active in her community and volunteered a lot, not because it would help her get into med school, but because she actually cared. After tutoring her for a year, I knew I was in love with her. I asked her out, but she declined. She said she liked me too, but she is religious and only wants an arranged marriage as per Islamic law. Despite not dating her, I knew she was my dream girl, so I contacted my parents. My parents and her parents arranged our marriage on the proviso that we would be engaged for 2 years until both she and I graduate our respective program. During this time, we started dating as fiancés. Weird, I know. Years back, Ronnie and I had made a bucket list of romantic activities we would do together as a couple. Amina found the list. I explained the situation to Amina, and she said she liked the list and wanted us to complete the activities with some modifications. We aimed to complete the list before our marriage. Amina took photos and scrapbooked all our memories as we completed them. Things like hiking a mountain, salsa dancing, Great Barrier Reef, Rome, Paris, etc. A couple months before our scheduled wedding, Amina published our scrapbook on Facebook. Somehow Ronnie found access to the scrapbook. She sent a scathing message to Amina saying she stole her idea. Amina messaged back a vicious message saying how terrible Ronnie is, how bad it must be to lose someone like me, and that the scrapbook was our idea together before we'd get married. Hearing that I was getting married must have pushed Ronnie over the edge, and she threatened to go to the shadow realm. She had to spend 3 weeks at a mental health ward. It was a massive scandal in our Indian community. This was 3 years ago. Revenge 3. I've been married to Amina for 2 years now, and things have been perfect. She is now in med school, and I'm a junior doctor. We're trying for a baby now. Last Sunday, my father called. One of my dad's friends from another city was trying to arrange a marriage for his son. Ronnie's parents had contacted him with a proposal. My dad's friend called up my dad to get an idea about Ronnie before they introduced her to his son. My dad forwarded my email to this guy and then called up and told him Ronnie's story of cheating, dropping out of university, depression, etc. Needless to say, that guy ran for the hills and canceled the arranged marriage. He was very thankful for my dad's advice and said he would warn the other Indian people in his state about her history. End note. So that's that. In the end, I didn't even have to talk to Ronnie these past years to get my revenge. All of it was delivered on a silver platter by karma. I have a beautiful wife, a job I enjoy, whilst all Ronnie got was misery and self-destruction. All this because I wanted to lose weight before I proposed to her. It's probably not pro-revenge, but I still get a kick out of it. And maybe some of you guys who are unlucky with love will find some peace or joy reading this. Just passing the karma on.
God damn, this is stone cold OP. But I do feel bad for her parents. They shouldn't be punished for their whole daughter's dumb decisions. But I guess that's how Asian cultures work. It's the exact same here in my country. Everyone is your friend and support system until they're not, and then you end up kicking rocks. Well, at least it's still better than paying 18 years of child support and alimony, plus losing half of everything that you own just because your wife decided she wanted another dick. Well, that's the world we live in now, unfortunately. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.